Jonathan, we had a great discussion last time about reading, but one thing I forgot to ask you, do you have a favourite book?
Do I have a favourite book? That's an impossible question, Jane Gandy. And I always say my personal favourite book is the book I'm reading at the minute. And my favourite professional book is the book I'm using with children at the minute. But actually, at the beginning of this academic year in my current school, I did something which I'm very, very proud of with this book, which is called Kind. And I think this is a very, very special book. Doesn't even have an author, written by a whole load of different people, and famous children's illustrators all did a spread each, and it's all about kindness. And I think if there is one message we as teachers have to get over to children, it's that children should be kind to each other, because human beings need to be kind to each other. So my single favorite book, I think, is that one called Kind.
That's really interesting, because in the senior school, I think in one of our previous conversations, I mentioned our 3 founding virtues. And one of them is caritas, which we translate as kindness. And again, I think there is no point. All the exams in the world don't necessarily count if you're not kind.
Absolutely.
Just thinking about what St Swithun's prep will be like under your leadership, can you give us a little sense of what we'll see when we go into the school?
Well, I hope when you walk into the school, you see smiling children. That's the most fundamental thing. And they're smiling because they want to be there. They're enthusiastic, they're interested, they're intrigued, they're working together well, and they're busy. And, you know, I'm remembering you and I had a colleague once who had a very, very good phrase for that.
Oh, power and purpose, you mean?
Power and purpose, yes. Which was something I always used to play a little game with myself about when she'd say it. But it was absolutely right, and it's what children in school should be characterized by. She got it just right with that phrase, and I've used it ever since. Power and purpose characterizes how highly motivated, hardworking, school-loving young people should be going about their daily lives. They're scurrying, they're smiling, they're working with power and purpose.
And this power and purpose will be going on in the prep school, I suppose?
It's going on everywhere, Jane. So as I see it, St Swithun's Prep is so lucky to have that brand new purpose-built learning space. Those spacious classrooms, both indoors and outdoors, that performance area, that gym, that library. The greatest thrill is the fact there's that cutting edge facility with all that rolling outdoor open space as well. So the thought of being able to take children to learn in the natural environment at the drop of a hat, when it's the best place for them to do that lesson, as well as to be in the cutting edge school building, they really have got the best of both worlds, not to mention all the advantages of having the big sister school next door. So being able to use the swimming pool, the dining halls. I mean, you've got a radio station, for goodness sake, Scandi. I've never worked in a school with a radio station. What lucky children, and what lucky teachers too, that they can capitalize on all those resources available to them.
You're absolutely right. And we haven't had prep children using our radio station yet, but I see no reason why that shouldn't happen in the future. And just thinking about what the children will be up to in school once you are here in September, what will the children be doing?
Oh, I want them to be doing anything and everything. So I'm just visualizing the school now. So when we walk through the door, maybe the first thing we smell is a Victoria sandwich cake that they've been making in that cookery room, and it's just come out of the oven and it's cooling on the rack. Then maybe we hear squeals of joy at that moment where they've been doing some marbling in art, and they're just peeling the work up and seeing what it looks like. And of course, we'll be walking past classrooms where they'll be doing maths investigations, problem solving, science experiments, English creative writing. Maybe there's a bit of French role play going on as year 3 go shopping. And then we suddenly look out, because there's all that natural light going through that brilliant building. We notice year 6 outside. Maybe they're growing their Romanesco cauliflowers, you know, that's what year 6 could be doing. Year 1 might be on a mini beast hunt somewhere. Year 2 coming back from drama, channeling their inner horrid Henrys or whatever they've been doing in their drama explorations.
Fabulous. And what do you think is going to come up next? Can you predict what's around the corner?
I think in any good school, and undoubtedly, St Swithun's is undoubtedly up there with the best of them. It's got to be evolution, not revolution. So it's taking all the brilliant stuff that's already going on, not getting rid of any of it, but building on it and facilitating it to be even better than it is already. And, as part of the interview process, when I was interviewed by children, that's a bit like one of the questions they asked me. And I thought, oh my goodness, however do I answer this? But I wondered then, and I wonder now, about surprises. Those times where we go away from the timetable, we go away from the security of what's predictable. And security and routine are very important for children. But one of the reasons why they're so important is the value you get when you break away from them. So those special times they'll remember forever because something exciting happened. And, I might have a few ideas for those up my sleeve as well.
Are you prepared to give us any clues?
Oh, well, we've already talked about puppets. He's still here. There he is. Watching. We talked about puppets. We talked about Romanesco broccoli. That can be a great surprise if you see it for the first time. Visiting authors. Those seem to work well. Visiting theatre companies. Done a few Olympic gymnasts. Had a brilliant BMX display team came in once, indoors in the school hall.
Wow.
Llamas. Llamas work well. Oh, and a tarantula and a python. Those were quite interesting too.
A tarantula and a python?
We certainly got those into school, but they were fully risk assessed, of course. So you're quite safe, Miss Candy. You're quite safe. The giant rabbits from the Harry Potter film, if anything, they were more scary than the tarantula and the python.
I can imagine. And how about you, Jonathan? How long do you think you might be with us for?
Oh gosh, well, providing this lockdown eases at some point and I can start house hunting, because that's starting to be a bit of a worry. I think St Swithun's and Winchester will be a rather lovely place for the last years of my career. I've got quite a few years left in me yet. But it's my third headship, 6 years in the first one, 10 years in the second one. I think we can see that as a trajectory. We can predict from that one. And, I think it'll all work out rather nicely.
Thank you very much. It's so good to talk to you, Jonathan.
Good to speak to you too. Thank you.